The Devil's Daughter attends a regular school. Friends, welcome to our channel. Today, I'm going to tell you about a German comedy called How to Be Really Bad. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Hell, located in one of Germany's tallest buildings. Here, the devil himself is in charge, yet he looks like an ordinary man. Work is in full swing inside Hell's building. Lilith, the devil's daughter, isn't allowed to mingle with the humans. She doesn't want to learn how to poison the minds of virtuous people through sin, choosing instead to tie up her teacher to prevent him from interfering with her online chatting. But her father, the devil himself, is concerned with his daughter's studies, so he decides to ask her some questions to test her knowledge. "What is envy?" he asks. Lilith then shows off a beautiful and expensive dress. When her friends see her in it, they will surely feel envy. They'll want the same one, but since they don't have the money, they'd be tempted to steal it. Her father is pleased with his daughter, but warns her not to use any kind of magic in front of humans. Lilith wants to interact with humans because she grew bored sitting in hell for days on end. Her father is against it. He says Lilith is still too young to be carrying out the devil's work. She should wait until she's 18. That evening, Lilith suggests that her father send her to the humans for a year, just as a test. Her father agrees, but he sets some conditions. Only he can choose where she'll go and which person she'll see. And it won't be for a year, but just for 1 week. If she manages to succeed, she'll get to stay with the humans. If not, she'll be confined to the basement and learn everything that she needs to know. Lilith agrees to these terms. Lilith and her father travel to a small town called Birkenbro. There, her father finds her a particularly nice family, almost too nice. As they drive in the car, they go over Lilith's arrival story once more. She came to check out the school because her parents were about to move there. There must also be no touching and no sympathy. Lilith's father gives her a special orb that measures her temperature along with her feelings. It must always remain black. Lilith gets to know the members of the family. She meets the mother, Sybil Bernstein, who loves to knit, cook vegetables, and hug, the father, Gabriel Bernstein, and the person whom Lilith has her eye on, Greta Bernstein, the daughter who sings in the choir, likes to read, and does her homework. Lilith can't help but notice how disturbingly cute they all are. Everyone sits at the table to eat the roasted vegetables Greta's father had grown, and they joke about how he speaks to his vegetables to make them grow better. When they finish the meal, it's time to tidy up. Greta starts clearing the plates and Lilith offers to help, but she then purposefully drops the plates onto the floor. Greta is stunned. Meanwhile, Greta's mother and father comfort her by saying that broken plates bring good luck. Lilith and Greta go up to their attic bedroom, and Lilith starts asking questions. She's interested in whether Greta uses drugs or drinks alcohol, lies a lot, or hangs out with her friends too much. When the opportunity presents itself, she then peers into Greta's closet, where she sees that one of the walls is covered in hearts and pictures of some guy. Lilith learns that Greta is very proper and uptight, and she's not sure what she can use to make Greta do evil things. Lilith and Greta make their way to the school bus. On the bus, Greta says hello to the cool girls in her class, Daria and Melody. Eddie, the principal's son, gets onto the bus. He approaches Greta and puts gum into her hair, at which point Lilith snatches perfume from Melody's hands, puts it in her mouth, and uses her lighter to make a flamethrower and burn Eddie's hair. He sits down in his seat, bewildered, grabbing his friend's hat to hide his scorched hair, and the rest of the kids are in shock. The bus pulls up to the school, and the kids see all the students crowded around the entrance. It turns out that one of their classmates, Samuel, is sitting on the roof smoking a cigarette, taking his sweet time. When asked by the principal to come down immediately, he answers that he's not done with the cigarette. Eventually, he does parkour to come down from the roof, and all the other students rush off to class. In class, the teacher hands out tests. Samuel turns the test paper into origami and leaves the classroom, mumbling something about not being into studying. Meanwhile, Lilith takes out her tablet to copy down the answers. As time starts running out, Greta notices that Lilith copied down the wrong answers. She quickly snatches her test paper and stuffs it in her mouth. Lilith is confused, but Greta says that she saved her. On the street, Greta and Lilith spot a guy, and Lilith recognizes him from the pictures in Greta's closet. This is the guy whom Greta really likes. It turns out his name is Carlo. He's a real high school heartthrob who works part-time as a DJ. Lilith comes up to him and asks that he seduce Greta, for which he will receive a handsome monetary reward. She asks him to pretend to love her and then dump her after 3 days. Carlo approaches Greta and strikes up a conversation. Meanwhile, Lilith meets Samuel in the alley and asks for a smoke. Eddie shows up with his buddies, claiming that Samuel stole his watch and tells his friends to search him. Samuel very skillfully jumps onto the roof of one of the low-rise buildings, and the other boys are unable to reach him. Lilith laughs out loud, watching the situation develop. Eddie then tells the boys to grab her. Lilith, with her devilish strength, rips out a road sign and really hands it to them. The boys stagger away in shock and quickly make a run for it. Some men at a street cafe nearby have a good laugh about the whole situation. Samuel gives one of them the watch that he stole from Eddie, which he did just to make him angry. He invites Lilith over for a bite to eat and, while chowing down on a delicious sausage, reveals that he's planning to leave for Berlin and that he already bought the ticket. Lilith tells him that she's never seen the sea. Samuel then suggests that they go look at the sea from the church chapel since the view is spectacular from there. But she agrees anyway. They enter the chapel and Lilith begins to feel uneasy. She walks briskly and heads upstairs. The view up there really is stunning. Moved by the beauty of the view, Samuel kisses Lilith. She pushes him away and hurriedly leaves the chapel. When she gets home, Lilith feels both feverish and chilly. She pulls out her orb and finds that it's starting to turn red. At that moment, her father calls her to find out how her first day went. In the background of the call, Lilith can hear that one of her father's employees is getting fired because he fell in love. Demons in love are good for absolutely nothing. This is when Lilith first learns that demons are even capable of falling in love. Lilith tells Greta that she went out with Samuel, and Greta tells her that Carlo asked her out. The evening is quiet and cozy. Mom is knitting, Greta is playing with their younger sisters, and Dad is reading. Greta's mother offers to teach Lilith to knit, but all she gets is a mocking giggle in return. Greta's mother says that she and Greta are planning a mother-daughter knitting evening the following day, but then Lilith blurts out that Greta has a date. Her parents are thrilled and swamp her with all sorts of advice. Greta runs off to her room and Lilith follows suit. She tells her that she needs to get ready for her date, does her makeup and hair, and gives her a nice dress. Greta looks awesome, but she understands that her mother won't let her go to school dressed like that. That's when a pebble flies in through the window of their room. Samuel has climbed up onto the roof and is waiting for Lilith. Lilith climbs onto the roof. She and Samuel talk about the kiss they shared. Samuel apologizes for it. Lilith gets angry and heads home. Samuel shouts that she looks cute when angry and understands that Lilith likes him. Lilith checks her special orb and it's red again. Greta plans to go to school in the beautiful dress. Her mother notices it and doesn't let her wear the outfit. The girls have no choice but to wear more modest dresses, which were actually knitted by Greta's mother. The girls arrive at the bus stop and are chatting. At that moment, Eddie runs up behind Lilith and tries to light her hair on fire with a spray can and lighter. Lilith, in return, elbows him straight in the nose. The girls get on the bus and talk about fashion. Greta wonders what it's like to be considered really fashionable. Lilith says that it feels great. Everyone looks at you and wants to be friends with you. Greta smiles, imagining the feeling. Lilith says that she can help her experience it. They get off the bus and Lilith speaks to Greta very loudly on purpose. She tells Greta to ask her mother to give her the dress and not to give it to that famous singer. Daria and Melody hear this and jump into the conversation. Lilith informs them that Greta's mother's designer dresses were a real hit at New York Fashion Week. The girls are in school and Lilith has Greta pose for a photo. Greta stands very stiffly and the photos don't turn out great, but Carlo walks by and compliments her. So Greta perks up and begins to pose enthusiastically. At that moment, Samuel approaches Lilith to ask her out, but Lilith tells him that she's very busy. Lilith creates a fake article about Greta's mother at Fashion Week and shows it to Daria and Melody, saying that the world's biggest stars were at the show. She tells them that all the dresses have been snatched up, but that she can ask Greta to get at least one more. Daria and Melody start arguing amongst themselves about who will get the treasured fashionable dress. At school, the fire alarm goes off and everyone rushes outside. It is Samuel who pulled the alarm so that he could see Lilith and ask her to go to the sea with him. Lilith agrees. Lilith is struggling to ride the bike to Samuel's house since she's never biked before. She makes it to his place and they head to the beach together. When they arrive at the beach, Lilith sees the sea and can't help but get knee-deep into the water. While lying on the beach with Samuel, Lilith gets a text from her father asking how much evil she was able to do. Samuel figures that Lilith is in some kind of trouble, and she tells him that her dad is very powerful. She says that he keeps her in a tower all the time and gave her just 1 week to spend amongst people. Samuel responds by saying that if her father ever locks her up again, he will set her free, and then they kiss. In the meantime, Daria and Melody rehearse their songs for the annual school show. Carlo is in charge of the music. Greta comes to the rehearsal and offers some advice to the girls. She says that she shouldn't sing in unison, but rather one after the other. Carlo learns that Greta is a choir singer. He suggests that she join the girls and they sing together. The 3 girls sing together and they do a fantastic job. Their homeroom teacher stops by and tells them that the principal opposes the trio's performance. He says that the principal saw their music video in short skirts and thinks that they might set a bad example for the younger girls. The 3 girls get very upset. Lilith and Samuel return from the beach. Samuel offers to buy ice cream, and while he goes to get it, Lilith looks around and sees everyone smiling sweetly, hugging and kissing. She fears that she is starting to fall in love and quickly runs off. She goes behind some van to smoke a cigarette. This is when Greta's father sees her. Lilith tells him that she wants to go back to their house. They get into the van and drive off. On the way home, they see that Greta and Carlo are talking and are about to kiss. Her father drives up to them and offers Greta a ride. Upset, Greta climbs into the van and her father realizes that he just ruined Greta's first kiss. At home, the girls talk in their room. Greta is upset that her date with Carlo was interrupted and suspects that Carlo is just playing with her feelings. Lilith feels sorry for her and regrets bribing Carlo. Greta notices Lilith's orb and asks about it. Lilith replies that it is just a kind of thermometer that her father gave her. Greta calls Lilith outdoors to get some fresh air and also to help her pick radishes. Lilith refuses to help and just sits there. Lilith tells Greta about the argument she had with her father, and they're not planning on staying in Birkenbro. On Saturday, Lilith will have to go back to her own house, and the only way she will get to stay is if she does evil things. Lilith has grown to love this place, and Greta doesn't want Lilith to leave either. At school, Carlo once again tries to kiss Greta, but this time Lilith pushes him away and tells him that their deal is off. Carlo responds by saying that he has come to like Greta regardless of any deal. Carlo tells Greta all about the deal and Greta is dumbfounded. She tells Lilith to go to hell. Lilith is unable to explain herself except to say that she needs to be evil. Lilith gets a text from Samuel telling her that he's waiting for her on the beach. She goes to see him. At the beach, Samuel tells Lilith that he wants to stay for her. He shoves his ticket into a bottle and chucks it into the sea, but Lilith tells him that their acquaintanceship and the time they spent together was the worst experience of her life and walks away. Samuel is taken aback. Lilith enters the school bus and approaches Greta, but she turns away from her. Lilith then tells her that she left Samuel because he's the reason she's been unable to be evil, that she fell in love, and her orb turned red instead of black. Greta understands that Lilith doesn't want to be evil, but she doesn't accept it. Regardless, Greta offers her help. The school's annual show has begun. Lilith's father arrives at school to check on his daughter and settles in the auditorium to watch the concert. Lilith sees him and sits down next to him. In the meantime, Melody and Greta sprinkle itching powder on the clothes that the quartet replacing them will be wearing for the performance. The school principal appears on stage and talks about his trip to Africa. The girls switched out the presentation pictures ahead of time, and everyone in the audience is now laughing at pictures of him naked next to monkeys and peeing next to an elephant. The principal promptly ends his presentation and invites the quartet, headed by his son Eddie, to take the stage. However, the quartet also fails to perform. The itching powder does its job. They begin to itch all over and run off stage. And now it was time for the girls to take the spotlight. Greta, Melody, and Daria perform their song on stage while wearing bold makeup and hairstyles, as well as short dresses made by Greta's mom. The entire audience goes wild with excitement. Lilith's father cannot believe that his daughter carried out the task successfully and congratulates her on becoming a level 1 employee. However, before making it official, he asks her to show him her orb. Lilith realizes that things are about to fall apart, but to her surprise, the orb is black. The devil asks her what city she wants to work in. She answers that she wants to stay here. Her father approves and leaves. Greta runs up to Lilith and asks how everything went. Lilith tells her that she's allowed to stay. They hug, but Lilith gets curious about all the chaos that took place at the concert. Greta admits that it was all her idea because she'd do anything for a friend. Lilith shows Greta her black orb, and Greta says that she simply painted it over with nail polish. Greta returns to the concert hall, where her parents are slightly shocked by her new look. She runs on stage towards Carlo, and the two finally kiss. Lilith is desperate to find Samuel. The men in the street cafe tell her that he left for Berlin. Lilith rushes to the train station as fast as she can and sees Samuel there. She professes her love. He tells her that he feels the same, and the two kiss. Friends, you have no idea how hard it was to find a way to watch this movie in good quality. I hope you liked our recap of it, and you're welcome to show your appreciation by leaving a like. Tell us what movies you'd like to see on this channel. Click on any of the pictures on screen to watch our other recaps.